He gave a tear. And quat. Then what happened? And quat. And quat. Amy looked at his tears. And quat. No. And quat. Sir Jarkane, he put wood and wood in the fire. And quat. Milani, or did he notice? And quat. And quat. As green pepper came in his mouth. He said. And quat. I don't know if it was more water or his eyes. But there were tears and tears. And quat. And quat. I will not love. And quat. Amami said blankly. And quat. Loved it but couldn't wait. And quat. He didn't know why, she purred from his side. And quat. He who loves waits. And quat. And quat. Whether the answer came from Katic or all his explanations, he used to go there. He was crying while laughing, or maybe he was crying while laughing. Did he understand that this woman who was heartbroken? And quat. I could never understand that. And quat. Did you come home because of this man? And quat. And quat. Arma asked then. And quat. No. It was quiet there, so come on. And quat. He said with a flushed face. And quat. What a restlessness. And quat. And quat. She was told with a tearful eye. Amami kept kneading the dough silently. Even though she was silent, she didn't say anything. The interval of silence was long. After kneading the dough into greens, it started playing. She was looking at Sag, with her arm wrapped around Tango. And quat. Why was the bank of the canal so big? And quat. Amami asked him with a sigh. He raised his head and saw Amami's face. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The outer gate was always opened by the maid who worked in the house. Her two children run into her while playing in the hall. They passed. 4-year-old Jibril was the first to arrive. Sitting on the passenger seat, he kissed his son's face. He was drenched in sweat. He took him with him. And quat. Peace be upon you. And quat. Jibril completed his daily routine, taking out a tissue from the tissue box in the cow. He cleaned Jibril's face, which he did with great obedience. The leaves trembled, and the basket fell beside him. Aggie was there. Seeing his arm from a distance, she cried and cried. He took it in his lap from a distance as usual. He kissed both cheeks then until Jibril closed the seat door. He took Anay down now. After meeting the two fathers, they ran to the lawn again. They were busy playing ball for a few moments. The kid kept looking at himself. Then, taking out a briefcase and a jacket from the back of the car, he went to the inner door of the house. His wife was still waiting for him at the door. He came to her in surprise and smiled. And quat. You come soon? And quat. He said, hugging her like always and gently caressing her pillow. And quat. Yes, there was not much work today. He laughed in response, taking the jacket from her hand. Instead of answering, he gave a broad smile. In his bedroom, while he put down his briefcase and took off his shoes, she fetched him water. And quat. Is your print okay? And quat. He was picking up the glass from the tray in his hand, when he suddenly asked. He was shocked to see his face. And quat. Yes. Of course. Why? And quat. And quat. No. I'm tired. That's why I'm asking. And quat. Instead of answering, she took the glass from me. She walked away. After changing clothes, he came to the lounge. In the lawn, his second child was still running after the football. He went in front of the lounger's window and played. I never liked it. And that's the reason. It was raining, which could start at any moment, and which was probably going to start again in a little while. In King Sasha for the past few days every day has started at the same time. Last few hours before 10. 1 hour of rain. Then the morning clear. And quat. Chai and quat. He turned helplessly at his wife's voice, looking outside in the lawn. She had taken 2 mugs of tea in a tray and some cookies in a plate. And quat. Thanks and quat. He smiled as he picked up a mug and a biscuit. And quat. They are going out to the children and quat. He said. And quat. I am waiting for your call and quat. Vic shook his head and went out. After a few minutes he saw his wife in the lawn. One is sitting on a chair in the corner, the other is in the bedroom. She smiled when she saw him. He also smiled back. Chakan's mug and a plate of biscuits were lying on the table in front of him in the lawn. Jibril took 2 biscuits. Nuno and Luya were given gifts. The 4 children started playing football once again. His wife was now fully focused on the child. While taking a kiss from the shawl on her right shoulder, she hid that part of her body where a new life was being nurtured. There was going to be a 3rd child. Seeing the children running behind her, she was laughing from time to time and then she started giving instructions. Looking out in front of the launch window, he was watching a movie. A complete movie. The tea in his hand was cold. Taking a deep breath, he drank the mug. Ruk Dr. of his wife that was right. They weren't right. He was watching a happy family outside on the lawn through the child's window. A picture of the ideal perfect life. Yes, his wife is satisfied and happy. Face. This life could have been so beautiful by throwing a few papers. He felt weak for a moment. Children and wife are the real test of a man. For those who were unable to try and quat property and quat, they saw that he was still a victim of this. As a man, a husband and a father, his family on the lawn was his responsibility. Disconnected from the relationship the wind for a moment, his gaze went to Chal, who was playing with Jibril and Anaye, and these 2 4-year-old children in black uniforms. He was still playing with the beautiful white boy. It looked worse. Heidi. Both daughters were dressed in appropriate clothes and shoes because Heidi used to work at their house. Child labor is also practiced without facilities. And after leaving the Houthis, their future will be a victim of an uncertain situation, just like the whole of Africa after the advent of Western colonialism. There was a risk of hypocrisy and instability. It existed as a representative of Western colonialism. He saw his 30-year-old employee clapping at one of his children's cakes on the radio, just as his wife and 2 children sat in a chair in a corner of the lawn. She was happy to see him play. She was never a child herself. She was an adult soon after birth. Like the 90% of children in Africa who can get one thing from childhood or the rest of their lives. All of these options come in the premium list. And Heidi was working hard as a single parent to give her children such an option. After a long time, he was balancing his children and his wife's children for the first time. He was balancing his wife's life and his wife's life. I didn't play for it. His phone started ringing. He took a deep breath and saw the caller. His body tensed for a moment. The caller guessed who he was talking to on the other side. It was him. New family and resignation. I had to choose one. ****. Asterisk 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 asterisk. The president put the empty coffee cup on the table. In the last 5 hours, he drank 8 cups of coffee. He drank it. He never drank so much coffee in his life. There is no such decision, it had to be done. It was between Tar Devil and Blue Sea. And this decision would have a bad impact on the results of these elections. The word bad was not enough. His party would have lost the election. But the consequences of ignoring this decision were more harmful. As much as possible. There was no more time to waste. The strength of the young lobbyists was the answer. Also, beware of severe backlash. The Foreign Office was constantly informing the U.S. Embassy about the couriers and couriers arriving from the respective countries on an almost daily basis, and fortnightly. Lived on independent line during America's international backlash was more serious than losing an election. After the fatwa and criticism, he sat down for a 15-minute period. He was forced to take a break. And at this time he was spending the last few minutes of this break picking up a scrap of paper from the table. He looked again. They were the bullet points of the 5-hour-long meeting in the cabinet office. The members of his cabinet were divided into 2 groups. They were tied to different lobbies. His casting was about to break from the wave, and this thing he was doing so uncontrollably. If it happened, then he could not pass on the responsibility despite his best efforts. He started looking at the paper in his hand once again. Those bullet points were working as bullets for him at that time. It was the last 2 minutes of the break when he reached a decision. And on the 17th of January 2030 it was also doing this. He used to open his mouth with a spoonful of cold water. This is a bowl in which a piece of ice would be placed. Then after putting the piece in his father's mouth with a spoon, he patiently stuck it in the bowl and poured the hot ice. Soak bread in hot water until chewy, blooming. At the same time, he used to keep the ice cold in this cup for a while. His father used to spend almost an hour drinking a cup of ice. Even a morsel of bread he ate with such gusto. He was eating these hot snacks. His sense of humor was slowly disappearing. He forgot to differentiate between hot and cold. There were members of the family. Those who were still trying to maintain this allocation for him were still making the food as appetizing as possible. I can remember this. Along with feeding Bar, he and his wife also sat down to eat. Whenever he came back, they used to cook him in his father's room for 93 times. In the absence of his wife and children used to work. The living room of his house was used as a bathroom. His father's bedroom was the center of many activities of his family. An attempt to erase the loneliness of he was lying on the bed since last year and reached the advanced stage of Alzheimer's. He picked up the old napkin in the trolley and saw the pieces of ice coming out of the corner of his father's mouth. Cleared what appeared a few moments ago. Her father looked at her with the empty eyes he always had. He called her food and tried to talk to her, without expecting an answer, because of her father's silence, including up to 12 hours after hours. A word, a sentence. It came from me, which was related to a memory of a year of his life, and he used to try to match this sentence with the present. His father used to watch him eat a bite. He was still watching. He knew his father was trying to recognize the face of a stranger. No caution, no fear of feeding him. Please say a tribute to his memory. She was not being protected. She was eating from a stranger's hand, and her brain cells were running out the whole time trying to give a name to this stranger's face. He also knew that his father would not remember eating from his hand until lunch. Every time he came to his room, he would be a new person, a new face to his father, and so on. Not only his family, all people too. His father might be surprised why new people keep coming to his room. His father used to live with strangers in his house. Those people who call it food, go to the room, bathe, change clothes, talk. But why do they do all this? And then why? This question disappeared from the screen of Bayer's mind, or maybe it was solved. His wife had left the room a long time ago. His luggage had gone to the airport a long time ago. Outside, a car was waiting for him. She would take him to the airport in no time. His staff was impatiently waiting for his arrival from this room. He put the glass back and sat on the bed and removed the napkin spread around his father's neck. Then for a while he sat with his father's hand in his hand. Slowly he informed his father of his departure. He told them about the gratitude and kindness he felt for his father, and especially today. His father looked at him blankly and listened. I understand, but there was a ritual which he always performed. After finishing his speech, he kissed his hands, then folded them and gave the blanket and kept looking at the bed for a long time. Yes. After that I don't know when again able to come to his father. He did not know that this was the last meal he had with his father. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Asterisk 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 Q spade suit. He took her hand and started leading her on a path. One step, second step, third. Then she fell back. It was a lake. The small lake on the shore of which they were. A lake of clear water of light blue color, in the water of which they could see colorful fishes swimming. And there are many colored pearls in it. Water birds were swimming on the water of the lake. Beautiful swans. There were flowers all around the lake, and many flowers were floating on the surface of the water. But none of them stopped his progress. The thing that stopped his progress was that beautiful little boat on the edge of the lake, which was moving gently in the water. He looked at her with an involuntary grin. And is this me? And he smiled. She raised her hand and ran towards the boat like a child. He followed her, continued